Aiden and Andrew, thanks for being with me today.
Thanks for having us, Elizabeth.
Okay, so you guys are in Brooklyn.
Yeah,
I'm in LA. So
sunny
we're making
LA.
this happen today, hopefully without a tech glitch. There's so much I wanted to talk to you guys about because you're such incredible innovators and you've had such really exciting news. So I wanted to ask you, why did you create Faba Butter and how?
Well, Andrew and I both went vegan about a year ago because we really, we both have backgrounds in the food industry. I had another company before this, and Andrew was working in food mergers and acquisitions and investment banking. And through our knowledge of the industry, we began to realize that, hey, this supply chain is not right. This is, factory farming is completely outmoded and unsustainable. The amount of, food and water and land and, global emissions that come from the factory farming are just not right and needed some major drastic fundamental replacement. So we started Bora and we developed our fava butter as part of the answer to this big problem. We have the first one-to-one replacer of dairy butter. So from really a global impact perspective, we think that we can influence people to convert to a plant-based diet, or at least introduce plant-based products into their daily routine, thereby creating less of a reliance on dairy factory farms and curbing global warming, essentially.
So
And then
what's
also just from a product perspective, when you look at the vegan marketplace, especially in the past 20, 30 years, there have been some innovations that have really brought the quality that people expect from the animal-derived foods that a lot of us grew up on to the vegan space, but there's always room for more. And butter was just something that, on our minds, hasn't really been touched formulation-wise in any meaningful way for 20 or 30 years. It's still kind of the same standard bearer margarine players. So if we can give people the one-to-one replacer, not just 2% of the population, the vegans, but you're attracting the flexitarians, the people that perhaps don't even care emotionally about some of these issues that we care so deeply about.
Mhm.
So let me ask you, because you've mentioned it a couple times now, why is it important to have that one-to-one replacement?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. You look at all of these vegan products that came out in the last 10 years, and we kind of call them vegan 1.0 because they're analogs to these animal-based products, but they just don't cut it. So in order to really get people to understand the value of plant-based products, it has to be the exact same. They have to buy it in the same area of the grocery store. They have to bring it home. It has to have the exact same functionality. Specifically with butter, it has to have the same mouthfeel, the same taste. You have to be able to bake with it. You have to make croissants. You have to be able to melt it in a pan in the same way to saute it with vegetables. And what we've done actually is we've brought our butter to Michelin star chefs around New York, and we partnered with them to refine our recipe and get their approval and endorsements so that we can go out into the market with this product that not only functions and tastes perfectly, but the top chefs are endorsing us that this is the one-to-one replacer.
I think one of the chefs is Scott Weingard from Los Angeles, right?
Yeah, exactly. Your local Venice guy. He's incredible.
So usually on this show, I'm tasting and I'm trying, but I just want to tell everybody this isn't even in production exactly yet. Tell me where you are in the timeline of things.
Yeah, we are launching nationally this summer. So we have nothing for sale for retail or direct to consumer or food service yet. But in June, we're going to be launching to every Eataly location nationally. You can get us in LA, you can get us in Miami, Chicago, Boston, New York, Toronto, Vegas. So that's where we're going to be selling our product in the 16-ounce tubs. And then we're going to be doing a lot of food service too. So we'll be in all of your favorite restaurants.
So it's great news that Italy picked you up. I thought you were going to say Whole Foods. How did you make that connection with Italy?
Yeah, that's a really good question. We actually have all of our connections with Whole Foods like set up already and ready to go. But we really want to focus on working with chefs. So We have the distributors in place to do so, but we're just holding off a little bit. But Italy is great too, because not only is it just a great way where people get their hands on the product, it's a way for us to, do all these chef demos and some consumer education around how this dairy-free butter truly is the best alternative.
Yeah, and I'm very excited to bake with this because as vegan, I'm kind of like you guys. I went vegan 2.5 years ago, except I'm still eating a little bit of fish, so obviously that's gone. So I worked my way, I would say, really staunch a 1.5 years ago. And so frosting, we talked about this a little bit before when we were getting ready for this interview. Frosting is my go-to. And so I know, like, right now you're on Faba butter, but you're working your way to frosting, and baby, I am first in line.
There you go. And we're going to release probably a frosting down the road too. So we have a whole line extension plan that I think you guys are going to like.
So tell me, how do you make Faba butter?
Yeah, so from an ingredient perspective, when you're trying to create something butter-like and you want to remain vegan, you really, for the body of the product, have two options, and it's coconut oil and palm oil. And obvious reasons why we're dodging palm oil. So we have a coconut oil base with the aquafaba, the chickpea juice, of course, and a few other super friendly ingredients, and essentially a blend of those. And then it's chilled and dispensed into the tubs for a butter-like product.
And how did you come across aquafaba? Because I'd never heard of it before you guys. So is it something the chefs tipped you onto, or what made you say, like, oh yeah, I'll take chickpea brine and I'll make butter?
Yeah, it's a really interesting backstory. When we were in the food world before, we were kind of subscribing to all the different vegan blogs and food industry blogs, and we stumbled upon this aquafaba community, which is basically 300,000 people strong. It's a global community that exists over 5 or 6 Facebook groups, and that's really where the core of this group exists. So it's basically everyone comes on and they cook with this product and they share recipes, and kind of like a do-it-yourself open source movement. And as we were developing our butter and looking at different formulations, we wanted to keep it as clean label and sustainable as possible from an ingredient perspective. So we said, okay, there's a lot of these really great emulsifiers we can use to blend the oil and waters of our product. A lot of these things are, kind of made in a lab or just not really natural. So we said, okay, there's this cool aquafaba stuff that we've read so much about and we're part of this community. Let's just see if we can mess around and get it to work. And it did, and it worked like a charm. So then we set up our own proprietary supply chain by working with hummus manufacturing facilities. So now we are able to buy it from hummus manufacturers who would pour hundreds of thousands of tons of this product down the drain every day, at even just one facility. We get to upcycle a little bit of that and bring it to our facility to clean the product.
So how long did it take you to test and try and work and figure out and get the right amounts of aquafaba, and how long did that take?
It took us about 12 months, starting in our respective kitchens back in Chicago when we were still working our day jobs.
Yeah.
So not so long, I'm going to say, from like a test standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, we're a nimble, scrappy startup, of course, but we've probably gone through about 80 different iterations of the product before we got it to where it is, all while keeping in mind throughout the recipe development process that we needed to have a supply chain and an ingredient source that was not only sustainable, but too fully scalable. And that fit with like these manufacturing models at these co-packing facilities that will allow us to launch, at a mass scale, nationally, internationally. So that was a huge part of our recipe development process too, that we were keeping in mind the entire time for the last 12 months.
So great news for you. You've just won the Sofi Award. So for people who don't know, it's awesome. It's the Specialty Outstanding Food Innovation Award, and you won it in the dairy and dairy alternative. But I think for me, the big hit home moment is you won it in the dairy category, what do you think it is for new products? What do you think it is that made you the winner there? Is it the innovation? Is it the taste? Is it the Michelin chef backing?
I think it's probably a combination of all those things. The criteria that they judge on is, ingredient integrity, and just progressiveness of the overall product, and obviously the quality. So it's a huge honor for us to win that, especially as one of the first true pre-revenue companies to ever win that award. And we think it's going to be incredible for us in terms of just attracting all the buyers and distributors, and drive a lot of great awareness for our product now.
Well, you bring up a great point that I wanted to ask you about. What is this alternative, I'll say alternative food space, but the plant-based food space, the vegan food space, it seems like it is rapidly growing. And I know, Andrew, you have a background, I believe, in food investment, right? Food banking investment.
Yeah, I was in investment banking. So I worked at Houlihan Lokey in Chicago for 2 years on the M&A desk. So we were selling food and beverage brands, so consumer-facing brands like Guinea Pop and Think Thin, and Corn is a UK-based meat alternative, sold for about $1 billion a few years ago. So the world is changing. The landscape is changing. We think that plant-based, this attitude is here to stay, and we're seeing that reflected in the consumer marketplace.
Yeah, and you're seeing so much innovation in this space. Was there a lot of, for butter, there's not really much competition. I think there's a lot of competition maybe for margarines, but no one's really calling themselves butter per se, I believe. So perhaps not for you, but it's becoming sort of a busy space. I don't know. Obviously, it's going to keep growing, and I think the numbers of people going vegan, they can't even keep up with the surveys of what percentage of the U.S. is now vegan. Or flexitarian. It just keeps growing. But were you at all concerned, maybe we're getting into this space even too late?
I do not think it's too late by any means. I think that we're only going to see better and better and better products, and that's just the spirit of a capitalist competitive economy. But I'm really impressed with all the great brands out there. Possible Foods, Beyond Meat. Those guys are basically going head to head, and they both have incredible products. And there's always, different market segmentation to reach that core audience you're going for. And in terms of, I don't think we'll ever touch milk or yogurt alternatives, because there is really some great products out there, and it's a really saturated market already. But we did see a great opportunity for butter, because there has been so little innovation in that space, and our product is, I'm going to say, it's really good. So we think people are going to want it. But there really still is a huge space in the dairy alternative market to innovate as well. So we're looking at doing, condiments and whipped creams and frostings, which really still haven't, hit that critical mass tipping point where people accept the alternatives as the new staple.
As the thing.
Exactly. In milk, even plant-based milks now are almost preferred sometimes to dairy milks in some markets. So that's what we hope to do with our butter. We hope to make it be butter.
And we also don't necessarily see crowdedness as a reason to not tap into the market. A marketplace could be crowded, but if all the products suck, then there's huge opportunity there. So even in milks and yogurts, there are some products that we admire on the plant-based side, but that doesn't mean that there isn't any opportunity to delve a little deeper into.
Right. Until people are eating all alternative products, the mission hasn't been won yet.
Yeah, by a long shot. There's just, if the growth potential is here, certainly not on the other side of the camp. So let me ask you guys, you touched a little bit on sort of your perspective of, changing the world, if you will, with your product. And I just had Ethan Brown of Beyond Meat in my kitchen, and we were talking about the same thing for sure. He's pretty awesome, and they're doing great stuff, as you say. So obviously you want your product, Faba butter, to be socially responsible and use less resources and not be involved in the wickedly cruel dairy industry. But I'm wondering what you've got. So I know your grand scale social goals, but I'm wondering what you guys learned on the personal level. So when you got into this a year and a half ago, what have you learned so far?
Yeah, I think, we kind of view food and, the way we interact with, like, I don't want to sound all like high level, like nature and our bodies is completely different. You really start to be more conscious of what you eat and, where your food comes from. And we grew up eating Hot Pockets for breakfast. I mean, that was just, we were kids in the 90s. You didn't think about that kind of stuff. And, we hope that through our product, we'll be able to influence other people to really kind of just view this world through a new paradigm where they start to really care about what they're eating and where it comes from.
Yeah, I mean, human beings have a very unique ability to put immense amounts of hurt onto the planet, but on the other hand, we also have a very unique ability to do the opposite and actually mitigate that hurt. And I think that is a lot of what drives us coming to market with something like this.
Yeah, amen. I always tell people who are considering going vegan, I say, like, okay, if by chance you're not affected by the animal dilemma, which, striking as that may be, you care about your own health. And in the end, taking care of your own health is not only obviously taking care of the planet, because a healthy planet means a healthy you. Can't be drinking bad water and then hopefully you're still going to be healthy. But it's also better for your wallet, because a sick you is a very expensive you. So, if you're concerned about the healthcare system and its costs and your personal wallet, then you want to change these things.
Absolutely.
Good point.
Absolutely.
Good point.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to try this thing where I call it What Do You Know? And it's sort of like a quick, fast Q&A back and forth. It's a little tricky with the video recognition system that we have, but I'll try to ask my questions and then immediately turn it over to you guys. So what item will we always find in your fridge?
Ooh, I will always have field roast sausages in my fridge. I love those. Always.
I haven't tried those. I'm going to try those.
I will always have Trader Joe's sprouted bread in my freezer.
In your freezer? Oh, thinking ahead. I like it.
In the shelf life.
So what is your go-to meal that you always make at home when you don't have a lot of time and you're just on the go and you're like, okay, I'll just make this super fast. I love it.
Pasta with the Rayo's vegetable medley sauce. It's a vegan sauce and it's delicious, and they have a bunch of chunks of delicious peppers and onions and mushrooms and all that good stuff. Easiest thing to make. You do it in 8 minutes. You're good to go.
Awesome.
Not to harp on the TJ sprouted bread, but I will make an almond butter and jam sandwich with the Trader Joe's sprouted bread. Toasted, obviously.
Obviously. What is your favorite junk food? And if you're not a junk food person, I'll let you fly with your favorite snack. But I'm really hoping for the down and dirty. What's your favorite junk food?
I'll take this one. I'm actually not sure. I'm pretty sure these are fully vegan, but Gushers, which is harking back to when I was 6 or 7 years old. It's like a fruit snack with jelly inside it. It's a candy, but that's probably my go-to.
Yeah, and mine would be, I like making popcorn and just pouring a ridiculous amount of nutritional yeast on top of it and some coconut oil. Good to go.
Or fava butter.
Or fava butter.
I was going to say, I'm with you there. Popcorn, which is one of the reasons I can't wait for Faba butter. Popcorn is one of my absolute go-to snacks, and I always make it with extra virgin olive oil, but no more. I'm going to be making it with Faba butter. So that is my second go-to snack, and my very favorite snack is frosting right out of the can. So you guys have to get to some vegan frosting.
You better believe it. You're going to be the first person to try it then.
Oh, I'm in. I will remember that.
I do the same thing with Trader Joe's cookie butter. If we have any Trader Joe's fans out there, it's straight sugar, but it's heaven.
Awesome. Okay, do you have any pets? And if so, do you think they're any different than farm animals?
I don't have a pet, but I want to answer the second part and say hell no. All animals are like living things and they should be treated the same. My girlfriend does have a really cute dog, though. I love that dog so much.
Yeah, we have a lionhead dwarf rabbit back home in Michigan named CJ. So he is the apple of my eye, and yeah, he's really sweet. He can fit in your hand.
That's awesome. I'm thinking of getting a couple bunnies actually. That's because I've got a big yard in Los Angeles, and they can, yes. So, what do you wish? Okay, usually I ask people with the number 10 involved, but because of your age, maybe we'll give you the number 5. It's up to you. What do you wish you knew 10 years ago that you know now?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I mean, from a food perspective, I kind of wish I knew where my food was coming from back then, or at least had like the tools in order to look that kind of stuff up. I think it was a problem of just not knowing how or where to question it or having a reason to question food until I really started to get into the industry. But I think that a lot of the consumer education is a lot better now, and I hope to advance that agenda personally with our business too.
I guess my take is more on education. I think if someone were to tell me when I started college to actually pay attention to what actually interests you and not necessarily try to be a jack of all trades, which is something that I think our system does a really good job at trying to shove down your throat, that you should know a little bit about a lot of things. But if you know early on that you like something, go into it headlong.
Yeah, that's great advice. I love that. I know for myself, I wish it's not so much that I knew it or didn't know it, it's that I felt, and this is maybe not the right word, I felt for a long time bullied into my food choices. Like I just didn't think I had the option of plant-based, and I didn't know how to go find it, and I was always feeling like, well, I guess I'm the odd freak. And I feel one of the, so you guys are obviously a lot younger than me, and there aren't a whole heck of a lot of advantages to being older, but here's one of them. In getting older, you realize, oh, I just don't care what other people say or think. I'm living my life, and that's my flippin' life, and I'm living my life. So I finally got to that point with age when I was like, yeah, I'm not going to be bullied anymore about this. I don't want meat products, and I don't want them, period.
Ironically, from the flip side, it's actually kind of cool to be plant-based now. More and more people are starting to go that route because like it's cool to like think and be aware and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's just a different time, I guess.
Yes, different time. Okay. If you could be known for one bit of change in the world, what would that be?
Getting people to think about their food and to get people off of these unsustainable dairy factory farms. That's our MO with this business right now. And our personal passions, of course.
Yeah, if we can leave the world in a even slightly better place than the way we found it, we will have done our jobs.
Rock star, so rock star. Do you know what your true purpose in life is? And if so, what is it? So it's a little bit similar to the question before, but it's slightly different. So,
I don't want to sound too, I don't know, like self-interested here, but I do believe that through this company, we have the ability to impact massive change in the environment and halt global warming. And I think that through this product and many other products, working together, then we actually can really alter the course of our planet and essentially like save our planet. So yeah, that's a lofty mission, but it's definitely possible by literally just changing the people eat food.
Yeah, but by the time we pass, if people don't view the non-human world around them with the same sort of ignorance or maybe disdain, we will have done our jobs once again. We're all connected. This is all one big thing. It's not human and non-human. It's one love. Okay.
I love that, and I love the way you put that. I always say on this podcast, I do believe we change what we eat, we change the world. And I really feel that it's a direct, one impacts the other directly. Yes. So yeah, it's fun to feel empowered like a superhero, because we can change the world.
funny you say that because we were way early on, not anymore, about our packaging. We were considering putting a note, you're a superhero. Thanks for helping us change the world. So we took that off, but it's definitely how we're thinking.
Awesome. So my last question for you before you guys reiterate when Faba butter is going to be on the market is, what are your predictions, I'm going to say, within the next 5 years? How do you see the food landscape changing within the next 5 years?
The plant-based market's only going to continue to grow, and the products are going to become better and better with each iteration, through food service channels and through retail. And more influencers are going to get on board with this, more chefs, more celebrities are going to get on board with this, and hopefully use their position of power to influence the masses. So I hope that it will spread out of the core markets, which is really, at least domestically, a bi-coastal market, to middle America as well, as more people begin to realize the benefits of this diet.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And I think we're going to continue to see a number of what are now kind of distinct forces like environmental impact and taste and what's fashionable really converging into one attitude on how we interact with the planet. And a lot of that comes with the way we eat. So good things are coming, for sure.
Good things are coming. I will add to that, and I think this is as much a wish and a vision as it is, I hope, a reality. I'd like to see legislative change. So I'm really sick as we talk about our pocketbooks, and I think a lot of people think about food as a direct relation to their pocketbook. As we think about our pocketbooks, I am really tired of my tax dollars going to subsidize meat and dairy. Yeah. Stuff that's bad for me and stuff that's cruel and stuff that ruins my planet. So I'm really sick of that, and I'm hoping for some legislative change.
And I want to give based on that, I want to give a shout out to the Plant-Based Food Association. It's an organization that we're now a part of, along with a lot of other really progressive plant-based and vegan companies, and they are a big factor in instituting legislative change right now. They have a great team of lobbyists who are fighting against, Dairy Pride Act and so on and so forth. So they're a force to be reckoned with and to look out for.
Awesome. Nice shout out. So tell us, Faba butter, do we have an exact date, or are we just going in general with June?
Let's say the first or second week of June, national distribution in Italy, and a lot of cool food service stuff along the way.
All right. And then I'm guessing Europe is next?
Europe, actually, I think before Europe, we might even do a little Latin America and a little Canada. But you know what? It's a lot of really cool, leads right now. So we'll see what we're going to pull off soon.
It's all coming down the pike. Yeah. Stay tuned, folks.
It's so very exciting. I'm a fan, so anything I can do to help you, please hit me up. I want to support. Tell us where we can find you on social media.
Instagram at Fora Foods, Facebook, the website's at forafoods.com as well.
Awesome. Andrew McClure, Aiden Altman, thanks you guys for meeting with me from your company Fora Foods in Brooklyn. Your product Faba butter out hopefully first or second week of June. I know I'm heading to Europe for a trip on June 5th, so I'm really hoping to be able to try it somewhere in those first couple days of June. Awesome.
Start. Goes on shelves, of course.
Awesome. Well, thank you for everything that you do. And as soon as I get my hands on some of that Faba butter, I'm going to start baking with it, and I'll be talking about it right here all over again for everybody.
Thanks, Elizabeth.
Likewise, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Appreciate what you're doing,
everybody. Too. Bye, folks. Thanks.
Bye.